You ever noticed how we all have a default way of looking at things, right? Some of us, we just want the facts. Others are looking for that deeper meaning. And then some of us, we just go with our gut. But what if leaning on just one of those is actually holding you back? And what if there was a simple model to get all three working together? Let's get into it. So seriously, think about it for a sec. When you're tackling something new, maybe a project at work, or even just planning a trip, what's your go-to? What's the first thing you look for? Maybe you're the type who needs the numbers, right? The hard data, the evidence. Or maybe you're all about the why, the story behind it all, what it all means. Or, hey, maybe for you it's just about the vibe, the personal experience, how it feels. Now look, all of these are totally valid, but here's the problem. If you only stick to one, you're getting a dangerously incomplete picture. Okay, so this is where a really cool framework called the Via a Triangle comes in. It's a super simple, but honestly a pretty powerful way to get a more balanced, a more complete, and just a more effective way of thinking about, well, pretty much anything. The whole model really just boils down to three core ideas, or you can think of them as lenses. First, you've got veritas, which is just Latin for truth. Then there's inquiry, which is all about curiosity. And finally, rounding out the triangle is aesthesis, which is about aesthetics, the actual felt experience. These three things together, they create a framework for a much more holistic kind of understanding.
All right, so let's actually zoom in on each of these three lenses so we can really get a handle on the unique perspective that each one brings to the table. First up, we've got veritas, the truth lens. Think of this as your inner scientist, or maybe your inner analyst. It's totally focused on the objective stuff, credible claims, hard evidence, and causal reasoning. The truth lens is always asking the question, okay, but what are the facts and did this actually work?
Let's use a simple analogy, say a vacation. Someone looking purely through the truth lens would judge that trip by asking things like, did we stay on budget? Yes or no? Did we visit all the sites on the itinerary? Check. It is all about those measurable, objective outcomes. Okay, next up is inquiry, the curiosity lens. This is your inner philosopher. This lens is never satisfied with just the facts. It always wants to know the meaning behind the facts. It's all about reflection, asking why, and trying to make sense of that bigger picture. So back to our vacation example. While the truth lens was worried about the budget, the curiosity lens is asking totally different questions. It's asking, hey, why did we even pick this place to begin with? What did we actually learn about the culture or about ourselves? What was the real point of this whole trip? And last but not least, we have aesthesis, the aesthetics lens. This is your inner artist. This lens cares about the subjective, the lived experience, that qualitative feel of something. It's tuned into the form, the freedom, the whole human sensation of the thing. And to finish our analogy, the aesthetics lens judges the vacation by asking, yeah, but how did it all feel? Was it fun? Was it relaxing? Or was it stressful? Was it a beautiful, memorable experience? It's all about that crucial human dimension. Okay, so understanding these three lenses is one thing. But the real magic of this VAA model is seeing how they actually protect us from our own worst habits. This is where the framework really comes to life. Because here's the absolute key. Each lens acts as a check and balance on the other two. It guards against the huge blind spots that pop up when we lean too heavily on just one way of seeing the world. So this is how it works. The truth lens, for instance, it saves us from something called mere impressionism, and we'll see what that is in a sec. The curiosity lens, it stops us from falling into technocracy. And the aesthetics lens, that protects us from sterile compliance. Let's actually break down what these failures look like. So first, if you don't have that truth lens, you get what's called mere impressionism. This is when your feelings and your story are just totally disconnected from what actually happened. You come back and say, oh, the trip felt so amazing, it was so meaningful, but you're ignoring the fact that you went 200% over budget and missed your flight home. The feeling was great, but the facts? A total disaster. Next, if you ignore the curiosity lens, you fall right into the technocracy trap. This is when you have perfect execution, but absolutely zero purpose. Your vacation was a masterpiece of efficiency. On time, on budget, every single box was checked. But it felt empty, like you were just going through a checklist. You were so focused on the what that you completely forgot to ask why. And finally, without the aesthetics lens, you are left with sterile compliance.
So the trip was factually solid. You saw all the important sights and you understood why they were significant, but the actual human experience of it, it was just awful. It was stressful, it was exhausting, and honestly, it just wasn't any fun. It succeeded on paper, but it was a complete failure as a human experience.
See how easy it is to fall into one of these traps? We all do it when we favor one way of knowing over the others. The whole goal, then, is to learn how to see with all three eyes open at the same time.
Because it's only when you bring all three of these perspectives together, when you ground your amazing experiences in reality, and you infuse your practical plans with purpose, and you make sure those plans are actually enjoyable for a human being, that's when you get a really deep and resilient understanding.
And really, this isn't just about planning a better vacation. The goal behind balancing these lenses is so much bigger. It's about orienting our learning, our work, our entire lives toward human flourishing. It's making sure that what we do isn't just effective and isn't just meaningful, but that it also makes our experience of being alive better. So I'll leave you with a question to chew on. As you go through your week, which one of your three lenses, truth, curiosity, or aesthetics, is maybe a little dusty? Which one do you tend to forget about? And what new things might you see if you just took a moment to clean it off and look at the world a little more clearly?